Welcome to Gestalt Poetry Open Mic for September 2023. Thank you all for being here. We are blessed to be with each other today for a wonderful afternoon of poetry. Our feature today is the incomparable poet and scholar, Red MEDUSA. She'll be performing in the middle of the open mic. And just a few quick notes. Our feature poet for October 28th will be the lovely and wise Christine Dickinson. To stay tuned, please visit my website at amyhoskins.com/writings. Okay, let's get started. I put the fellow poet list in the chat there, and the first is Alexandra.
Usually it's the feature first, so. Okay, Flying 14. Bring it on, life, every precarious safe haven, every toiling accomplished goal. Arcadians, children of the pre-lunar era. Your struggles, my struggles, entwining around each other. Pain sweetening through sharing. Waiting through centuries of darkness. For a miracle to shine. Beams of dreams shaping the narrow bars of reality. Our labored sweat, our bitter patience, dissolving our struggles into the salt of the tear. Bring it on, life, every shatterable righteous law, every daggered, jubilant victory. Agathodemons, children of the absolute word. Your truths, my truths, powering around each other. Eternal debt for the unjust. Eternal gratitude for the just. Lightning condemnation of injustice. Defying mortality, determined to win all battles. Fiery anger sung by muses. Kindling our truths into the tip of the flame. Bring it on, life, every fluctuating precious bond, every undulating sweet desire. Heteroluminescence, children of the solar cosmos. Your light, my light, shimmering around each other. Distancing in cold alienation, connecting in warm communion. Our sacred mating reflecting infrared wavelengths. Invisible bright frequencies, shapes and colors becoming visible. Absorbing and transmitting photons. Rippling our light into the foam of the wave. Bring it on, life, every delicate, fine-spun artistry, every frenzied, blissful awakening. Dionysians, children of a primordial orbit. Your passions, my passions, creating around each other. Art flooding with hues of emotions. Every aesthetic touch guaranteeing endless splendor. Ideal voices and thoughts. Soaring like seagulls between land and sea. Carrying elevated ideas through space and time. Raising our passions into the upsurging of the spirit. Bring it on, O life, every vulnerable, steadfast vision, every evanescent, ultimate flight. Apollonians, children of the winged evolution. Your quintessence, our quintessence, goldening around each other. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So ethereal. So wise, beautifully done, and your artwork as well. So wonderful. Thank you. Now we have Laura Grevel.
Oh, thank you very much, Amy. That
You're
was
welcome.
lovely, Alexandra. I haven't seen that one. A really lovely one. Let's see, I'd like to share the screen too, although I'm not able to offer the graphics that Alexandra did. Okay, let's see where it is. I think there it is. Okay, so I have a sort of a funny set, two pieces. The first is quiet. So this is called Chrysalis. The wild geese have flown south. The cool air has set up house, blowing away the heat of summer, blowing away the fear of fire. Cool yourself in the leaves of fall. Cocoon yourself in the fall of leavings. Wrap yourself in gestation, the folds of uncertainty, the time of trembling. Rest yourself in rapt concentration while new wings grow. Thank you. The next one, just to say, the next one has a harder to take ending to warn people. And yeah, so this one is not as calming. That's the opposite of calm. And it's a newer piece I'm working on. Obsession. Obsession ran for mayor as names dropped like hot rocks, sizzled on the griddle of infamy, as hames were framed round the houses of government, a turbulent construction, chains attached to trace, the breakaway direction of hooves that beat a mimicry on the face of democracy. As names drop like cocked rocks on dusty roads of derision, obsession cracks the whip of ridicule, chains tighten, tensions of mob rule rise, blinders left and right, while obsession runs for mayor again. His legs hairy with wire quips, his hair lightning colored, sprouting out to trip, gripping the airstrips where judgeship horsewhips the dust-trodden voter. Waiting on a convenience store corner in a post-stork apocalypse for the wonder of popsicles that don't melt under horseshoes, forged with hell's hammer by blacksmiths in hoodwink hoods and farriers harried by glare of truth and lie and dare. As names drop like rotten rocks, obsession runs for mayor again, cracks the whip for flair, drives a cart filled with fruit and fart and scare, paints names on flanks that could evolve to tanks, rolling over voters who lick their chops, that stink of what roadkill was left, pressed on cartwheels that obsession greased with skill. His poster power strength makes right. He cracks the whip, licks his lips, feathered with his dour script, a split lip open for his rotten stench. Breathe in, sister. Breathe in, brother. The cocktail will numbify your last unwilling clench till you moan and boo like a hound sobbing bitch. Thank you for listening.
Wow, that is brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you. You're rhyming. Just where all of it comes from. It's just beautiful. And the second one, so piercing. Wonderful. Thank you. And next we have David Lee Morgan. Is he here? Yeah. Welcome.
Let me unmute myself. All right, you can all hear me now? You can all hear me now? Yes? Okay, so I'm going to start with an apology, which is that I'm not going to be around for a long time after I read. I go to bed really early and struggle staying awake this late. So that's why for my friends here, all of my friends that I know here are actually going to be on long after I'm asleep. So that's why I don't Zoom very often. I thought I'd do this because I know Red and I haven't seen her in a while, but actually I'm going to miss her too. Anyway, so apologies, and I'll do 2 poems for you. These are the last 2 I've written. I try to write a new show every year, and this is from the new show I'm working on, which is sort of about slavery and the Civil War in the United States and the revolution in Haiti. Neither of these poems relate directly. They might not make it into the show, but I really like them, so I'll just shut up and do them now. Rewilding. It's not the work of a lifetime. It takes generations to make a wolf into a dog. How long does it take to go back the other way, to free the wild inside? Or maybe that's wrong. The wrong question, the wrong direction. Not a wolf, but the wolf pack. Not a man, but mankind. Not a mother, but all Mother Earth. Civilization unleashed, set free, total rebirth, rewilding the world. And the second one, a little bit longer, but not a lot. Ancestor worship. There is one essential requirement for being an ancestor. You must be dead. But if you're dead, you can't be anything because you're not there. You don't exist. Some would say you exist in the memories of those you left behind. No, the memories exist, but you are gone. You're not there. You're not an actor. You're not an agent. Any effect you could have had on the real world has already been set in motion. Maybe you were a big noise when you were alive. Maybe the noise you made echoes down through the centuries in books, in stories, in video and computer games. Or maybe you were a nobody. Maybe you were forgotten almost as soon as you died, or even before. No matter what, you are not a you anymore. You have melted into the music of the universe. The story is told that one long winter night, the shadow just outside the campfire light found Finn McCool staring into the flames. Tell me, said the shadow, what is the most beautiful music in the world? And Finn replied, the most beautiful music in the world is the music of what happens. That's you, what you are, what we all are, a magical wave in an endless magical ocean. And you are not limited by who is your daddy or your grandmother or your father's mother, sister's, uncle's, brother, cousin's, kin's brother. You are the child of every ripple in the universe. Who are your ancestors? That's up to you. Choose wisely. I choose Spartacus and Mary Magdalene and Harriet Tubman and Sappho and Malcolm X and William Shakespeare. And I choose you. I know you're not dead yet, but I choose all the ghosts bubbling up inside you, the magic of the universe coming out through your lips, kissing me, breathing into me, making me love you. I choose you. Thank you.
Wow, that was so amazing. I don't know what to say. That was so amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for listening.
So powerful. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And next we have Eike Waltz.
And Dada says, debug your brain. subversive and irreverent, Dada, more than any other art movement, has shaken society's notion of art and cultural production. Yes, most 20th century art movements trace their roots to Dada. Good old Nietzsche, who questioned everything, called it how one philosophizes with a hammer. Fiercely anti-authoritarian, anti-hierarchical, Dada questions the myth of originality, of the artist as a genius, suggesting instead that everybody should be an artist and that almost anything could be art. Raw Dada. Ha! Ha ha ha! And Dada says, debug your brain. I don't want to be a drummer. I want to be the instrument, be played on the dark side of the naked street during everyone's lunchtime hour, just being played with that wild pair called the drumstick dance. Dibbidi bobbidi bobbidi bum, bum bum bum, bum 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 bum, bobbidi bobbidi bum, bum boom, 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 boom. Ah. Once I was afraid of words. Ah. Now, my friends, these words are afraid of me. Bibbidi bobbidi bobbidi boom, 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 bobbidi bobbidi boom, 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 boom. There will be that day when you will say, once I was free, I could carry a gun. I was brave to kill at will anyone. But the day I asked my pretty AR-15 gun, it responded, make love, bro, just be a real man. But yes, there will be that day when condescending words are too become afraid of you, of AI, of everyone. Otherwise, my friend, we are Huck. Zip-boom, 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 boom, boom. Bibbidi-bobbidi-bobbidi, boom. Huck, ja. Boom, boom. Woof, woof. Meow. Kiss that bloated orange clown on your golden iPod app. Meow. Blah. Blah, 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 blah. Thank you.
So much fun, so creative, and thank you for describing originality in art. It's a beautiful movement. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here.
Actually, it's about Ristanța and Dada movement, and now is a celebration in Europe regarding to Dada movement.
Oh, good. That's awesome. I'd like to learn more about it. Next, we have Susanne West.
Okay, I have two pieces. This first one is called The Mother Voice. When I spoke, I heard my mother's voice. Fear threads winding into twisted shapes under my faked smile. More fear and a fire about to be ignited. A fire I would blow over to my daughter. Some wrongdoing or other, I don't remember which match did it. My daughter's armor, her righteousness, her refusal to hear anything from me that has edges, just a response to what she sniffs with her wolf senses is about to erupt from her fire-breathing mother. I swore I would never spew that fire. 2, a holy difference. I raised my daughter to have a voice. She does. I cowered and folded with my mother. Heidi gets fierce. No room for me or anyone to explode on her. I did some things right. 3, Mom told me she injected her fear into my brother and me. She knows. I think I stopped breathing and may have said something polite. Oh God, it's true. She knows it. She's speaking it. Years of my tormented by fear, dear brother's life of anguish, mine consumed by addictions to numb and keep it all in the underworld. The years flooded through me. A fortress of stones and thorns collapsed inside me. My body fell into place. I saw the ghoulish line of our terrified ancestors behind her, passing it on. 4, all my birthday candles and first star wishes from 22 until my late 30s were one thing. Please take away my fear. Please, please. This generous, kind, listening universe has been hearing me. Deep bow, reverence, gratitude, awe. And this second one is called Hey Crows. Hey Crows, I'm sure you heard my neighbor, felt her siege of rage. That damn crow shat on my car again. Hers the only car consistently targeted. I imagine you telling your friends and family where her car is. We are crazed, lost. I think you know we are our own undoing. Will we remember our place, that we are but dots in the vastness, dots in the great field, alive with love, wisdom, goodness, freely given? Will we see how unfaithful we've been to the sacred wishes for our world and grieve and give back? Will we remember, go to where there is need, to go to where there is need, to share the blessings that find us? I hope we remember, dear crows, that you are kin, as precious to us as the children who have our names. Please help us shape-shift, inhabit new names bestowed by you, the forests, the clouds, Mother Ocean. May we become who the sacred intended us to be. Thank you.
That was so beautiful. Wow.
Thank
The first one's so much about the relationships is so strong, so powerful. The fear threads, that's brilliant. Just thank you so much. Wonderful.
you. Thank you,
Mhm.
Amy.
You're so welcome. Now we have Julie Huck.
Me.
Oh, you're welcome.
I have 2. Homecoming. Death came, and afterwards, the death of the job, the situation, and the new job. And with the new job, the house. And with the house, the boy. And in the house, they got reacquainted with what each other eats for breakfast. The boy who is taller by far, with feet like canoes and a curled, furry upper lip. In the quiet of the day, she performs the job and waits for him to return from school. Perhaps it is not too late. Perhaps he is not too old for cookies. Baked in the spaces between meetings, in the space between the shelves and the stove and the boat calendar. I don't like the angel painting, he says. I want everything to match. We should have a cleaning schedule. This makes her happy. In the space of a year, from chaos to limbo to ordinary time. In time, he will ask someone to the dance, will not be the one mowing the lawn, will be in college on a coast. In no time at all, the earth will take him spinning, and he'll sail to another spot. But for now, they'll sit on the steps, slurping soup, talking about life, the universe, and everything. Thanks. Wayfinding, Part 1. The dishes. Eggy fronds line the cast iron pan, solitary in the sink. The laundry smirks in its basket. The dog sighs, watches, waits. The house, like the giving tree, misses her boy. The parent wonders if these trips, short studies and absence, will build her resistance or gradually erode her identity. In time, she'll no longer be filler of forms for school lunch, bus passes, tennis tryouts, no longer hefting gallons of chocolate milk into the cart, no longer checking off first this or that. Milestones bolt fast into lasts, final first day of school, last dance, the last time anyone cared to close the shades in the living room. Don't worry, other identities will sluice and slide into the gap. Daughter, sister, writer, partner, friend. But this ending, inevitable, predestined, foretold, is sugared coffee, is bitter wine, is a handful of ice slipping as droplets to the floor. Godspeed.
Wonderful, loving detail. So beautifully done. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Now we have Therese Crane-Bersch. Is she here? Do we know? Let's see. She may not be here. Okay. She might join us later. Okay. Lucia Daramus.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Yay.
A Landscape of Summer by Lucia Daramus. I remember, I stacked on the bed, iron rusty bed in hospital, ice, many opaque ice, on the fields around hospital, fields without soul, without mouth, without feelings, only ice, blue ice and a hot yellow, and ice which entrance in my nostrils. The hot yellow is drowning me, it's grilling myself, my intestines. The blood of the field is springing on the grass, in my brain. It's burning my skin. It is summer, hot air, hot yellow times, and the smell of burning. On the field, designed by my mind, a landscape of summer, 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 a summer of neural connections, and angels crowded in a room, a hospital room with iron, rusty beds, and a burning melting sky of a summer in my mind, mind. Away, Lacrimosa by Mozart. Pain, and death rises from the ashes to be judged. And demons from my dream. The demons count my dreams. I am in an abandoned hospital. The beetles eat from flesh of mentally ills. The ills are children with crushed wings of angels. The rats nibble the rust of iron bed. God slept. He allows falls asleep first because he is tired. The beetles with big and hungry mouths gobble from body of little children. I am tied to the bed with rope. My eyes are fixed on the white ceiling. Away, far away, lacrimosa, a requiem, maybe my requiem. Lacrimosa, dies illa, qua resurget ex favilla, judicandus homo reus, lacrimosa dies illa, qua resurget ex favilla, judicandus homo reus, huic ergo parce Deus, pie Jesu Domine, dona eis requiem, dona eis requiem. Amen. My eyes are fixed on the white ceiling. There it plays Medea, the winged cart is flying with her children to the inferno. The snakes smell her mind and red hair. The abandoned woman's womb burns in godly flames. The big mouth of God bites bit by bit from me. The nurse brings another child. She ties him to the bed. I kiss him in my dream, my transcendental kiss. God is hungry. He breaks from me, from another child, other. No one cries for us.
Shut up.
I beat my head against the well to shake the Medea's flame. The well sounds like a transcendence. I am number one. The number two strikes a match. His penis burns. The pink lotus flower. The smoke lights smoothly in a hospital room. Everything is shiny. We are the children of God, who bites from us, and we bite from cesspit of light and lacrimosa in our minds.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was such a wonderful and vivid exploration of the dark, and just wonderful. I loved it. And there was one more thing. I'm forgetting, but it was wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Stacy Ardis.
Stacy Ardis Dyson, actually, but that's
Oh,
fine.
so sorry.
No worries.
Thank you.
2 poems for y'all. The first is for the poet Rose Gold. Her name is Marissa Alexander. Make sure you put some respect on that name. Folks still debating over whether she had the right to participate in her own survival. She hit the ceiling because the bullet wasn't meant to hit him. She hit the ceiling because she had to hit back, and she couldn't take the chance of laying hands. Guns aren't the only actions that backfire. Her name is Darnella Frazier. You need to put some respect on that name. She filmed the murder heard around the world, and folks wondered why she didn't drop her camera and do something. A little Black girl in this jacked up world, what was she supposed to do? Get herself hurt or killed, trying to fight back, or do what she did and bear witness in the best way she could? Her name is Fani Willis. You best lay some respect on her name. The death threats come every day now. The big, stupid bad is making it his business to question every breath she takes, and his followers are balanced on the edge of his lies, ready to take aim. The law is supposed to convict him and protect her. She is going to prosecute. She is going to make sure liars and thieves and people who persist in trying to steal the last vestiges of the American dream pay the toll. She has been cajoled, warned, threatened. Back off before you get dead. What is she supposed to do? abandon her promises. Black women don't do that. And we only run when there is no other way because we know you have to be alive to fight. Faith and the marshals are watching her now. But all that prayer won't stop a bullet. Her name is Simone Biles. Best lay some respect on that name. Reigning queen of the stratosphere. Nobody could toy with air and movement the way she did. Till one day she stopped. Her light tripping needed a rest before she hurt herself, so she lay down for a minute. And the world jeered and called her soft, questioned her commitment, talked smack about how some people get spoiled and can't take the heat. What was she supposed to do? Keep risking injury to define the true nature of light and its movement? Risk injury so people could keep making money off the way she could bend time between dance steps, grit, and moves that showed the old routines the door and told them not to come back? Die so y'all could keep bragging that she was our free pass to show the world what Black folk can do, how America is always excellent. How dare she think of herself? How dare she? Folks tend to forget. A star always knows how to spin in the heavens, but the star didn't. She didn't. Somewhere along the way, y'all need to lose that attitude. Black women get to self-love, self-care, protect themselves, and you don't have to like it, prove, or co-sign on our life decisions. Keep your second guessing and insults to yourself. We're grown and we know how to act. And the world better be grateful for the fact that we pay such close attention. And let us breathe how we're intended to. And then the second piece. These are both pieces from my new book, Because the Sun Would Not Move. Darling, you're right. I do think you're fine. Crazy, sexy, intelligent, cool, and sugar sweet, a gentleman and a scholar. I imagine in your wake lie 1,000 satiated hearts and satisfied bodies. I am not that kind of girl. You're going to have to step to me different because loving me is a revolutionary act. I should not need to, but I'll save you some time. Let me tell you exactly who I am. I am the girl who stuffs music into her ears because the glittering burn of words tumbling along the strands and threads of my DNA often leave no room for other sounds. Truth is an old faithful lover. Integrity is my BFF. If you can't live with them always hanging out, you best get stepping now. I feel no need to, but let me tell you exactly who I am. I am the girl who breathes in flame and breathes out poetry and falling stars. Never met a fantasy I couldn't completely enslave. To kiss me is to discover how the light in a sapphire tastes. To know how it feels to catch errant stars laughing between your fingers. To kiss me is to celebrate every woman who ever loved, never mind if it was at a loss. She loved and made herself a part of history. To love me, you must bring everything. Your wit, your sword, your sense, your shield, your strength. Be prepared to overthrow old patterns and awkward understanding, tired conventions and over-familiar acknowledgments of what commitment should be. I don't need a dragon slayer. I got that shit. I need a dreams keeper. A man to handle my body can be found with any quick look and careless smile. Can you handle my visions as well as my bad dreams? I don't need you to understand me. I understand me. I don't need you to complete or save me. Too late for that. My parents loved me enough to make me whole, and Jesus saved me when I was 12. Are you getting this? You're going to have to wrap your head around, your heart around, your life around the fact that I am not that kind of girl. the ones you're used to beguiling or being beguiled by. Bring your honor and your A game, sugar. And let's go warrior together. Change some worlds with our sharply defined, luscious, all that, and unique, ambitious, realized selves. Yeah, Shug, you should probably stretch first. Breathe deep. Because once I let you in, be in for the long haul. I am not another sweet, pleasant pastime. I am not capable of, impossible to be just another comfortably satisfied heart and gratefully satiated body. Because loving me is a revolutionary act.
On fire. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So wonderful. What a wonderful storyteller you are, and so empowering. And I love the flavor of your voice as well, and the words, everything. Wonderful. Thank you. And now we have Dyson, Principe, Guity. Did I say that correctly? I think you have a stage name as well. Maybe not here. Okay. So now we've come to the point. Yes, you're there?
Yes, I'm here.
I'm so glad. Thank you. Welcome.
Oh. I'll be reading two poems. The first poem is called Healing Medicine. Snuggle to my floppy disk ears are headphones. Headphones with vibrational music speaking to my heart. When I am in a melancholy state, the sweetest of words like affirmations give me daylight. They're trying to turn on the lights please with ease. So I salivate with my ears demanding more, but the woman needing that good loving. Because when you hear music, your pain is numb. That's the first poem. And the second poem is called The Journey to Winter. Like clouds, I float, always in the air, airing through the sky high I am. On rainy days, I am drenched in God's tears. On sunny days, I am nature's friend. The closer we get to the birthdays, I grab hold of my wintry apparatus to protect me from rigidness. On the days I walk on snow and see people make snow angels like children. While I wait for hot chocolate season, I might as well enjoy fall. Poem.
Thank you. So sweet. Thank you so much. So nice. Thank you. All right. Now it's time for our feature, Red MEDUSA. So I'm going to introduce you. All right. Red MEDUSA is an established poet, artist, and scholar who combines her learnings from her experiences as a Black, neurodiverse, educated, working-class woman and mother with her academic knowledge of health and social inequities to deliver moving, visceral, and disruptive poetry. Grounded in Black feminist theory, her works have led to headlines at the famous South Bank Centre in London, the infamous She Growls Festival, the Million Woman Rise March, and have been published in Vogue, Grazia, and Forbes magazines, to name a few. An awardee of the prestigious LISSDTB scholarship, Red is currently studying for a doctorate at Queen Mary University, London, where she's researching Black women's health during the COVID pandemic, using poetry to explore and platform their experiences. So if you will unmute and please welcome Red MEDUSA.
Thank you.
Let's go, sis.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Amy. I know it's been a long time.
So
A long time
welcome.
coming. And thank you for that wonderful, personally written introduction. I have to blow my own trumpet at every opportunity, right?
You have
When
to.
you've worked this hard, you deserve to do that. You deserve it. So thanks for having me, everybody. I managed to catch quite a bit of the poetry at the beginning, and it was moving and it was fun, really nice. What I will say to the audience now is to brace yourself, because this poetry is not fun. It's quite serious. Anybody that knows my poetry knows that it is far from fun. Um, and I'm going to be sharing some work that A, I've not performed, and B, I've never read out loud. A lot of my work at the moment is funnily enough, like yourself, Susan, I heard your piece on motherhood. I'm touching on that at the moment. So a lot of my writing is focused on that, because that is the loudest experience I'm having right now, is being a mum whilst being all of these other things. And kind of thinking about my own experiences as a Black mother to Black children. So I'm going to read a poem that I've never read before, and I had it tucked away in the archives for about a year. And it's called Things Mums Aren't Allowed to Say. So bear with me, because I've never read it. Here goes. I remember really hating my mum, her screaming and shouting and swearing and witnessing the monster she had become when we, my brother and me, would argue over foolishness like who had more chips on their plate, or who gets to stay up late, or who put hands on who. From somewhere in our flat, mum's voice would boom over the bickering quicker than we could blink. Expletives that could only be described in English as terrifying preceded beatings that etched a fear of authority onto our young minds for lifetimes to come. It's no wonder then that as a child, I really hated my mum. And I wouldn't be surprised when my children hate me, because although I don't beat them and I rarely scream and shout, I know they can see that there are times when I'm visibly done with performing this gendered role called mum. And every now and then this admission slips past the confines of my mind, and when asked, I let myself say that I'm not doing too great at this balancing act / Jedi mind trick that I was taught is expected of me because I have a pussy. This double act of doing me and having to answer to 1,000 calls for mummy is unhealthy and causes me to feel guilt for wanting to be me again. Nobody prepared me for it. Nobody said, congratulations, the next 20 years will be blood, sweat, and tears, and that ain't no metaphor. Nobody told me that doors would be shut in my face because people think mother's unreliable. I wasn't warned that my career would be set back at least 6 years by motherhood. No one told me, and I wish they would have, because nothing prepares you for the responsibility of keeping other humans alive. There is no cure for the bitterness of seeing other parents' children allowed to live when your days are peppered with prayers that your Black babies will survive. And that's the first one. Thank you. Okay. Hope you're nicely warmed up. Okay, so the second one is called Her. And this piece I released this year. In fact, it's the only real spoken word piece I dropped this year. Some of you have already heard it, some of you wouldn't have. And this piece is written from the perspective of a child. I will issue trigger warnings. There is talk of abuse and all things ugly. But it's real life, right? For those of you that don't know, I often go into schools and I deliver poetry workshops to key stages 3 and 4. So we're talking about 15 and 16-year-old girls across England. We focus on voice, we focus on speaking things that, again, we're not allowed to say out loud. And having delivered a number of these workshops, I realized that I hadn't actually spoken some shit aloud. And yes, I do swear, so I won't apologize for that. You should know that. So I wrote a little something that kind of brought together all of the things that I'd heard, as well as all of my own experiences as a child. and it's called Her. She doesn't like you, and she doesn't like that she doesn't like you. To not like the person that birthed you is hurtful, until one recounts the fearful moments you learned to live through, learned to love through. Eventually, that fear becomes a part of you. The doctors tell her it's anxiety. All this time, she thought she was the problem. She thought she was the one with an inability to be normal, and that she deserved to be locked in her room whilst you vacuumed, or sent to the neighbor with the roaming hands, where he'd have her stand up for hours whilst he did things that her mind still tries to protect her from. She thought the beatings with the belt or spoon or slipper was because of some childish thing that caused you stress, or you'd grown fed up of the smell of her pissy mattress. She learned since that bedwetting can be an indicator of abuse, which would make sense considering that she was first bullied by you. She should probably stop telling your story there, because you taught her that what goes on inside this house stays inside this house. She should probably be quiet and not rat you out, because we're supposed to protect the people that we care about. And your regular gaslighting makes her feel guilty for holding you to account, so she taught herself to walk on glass and be content with being cut, because eggshells are too loud. And any sound that resembles a request for an apology is dismissed with violent rebuttal. You've always found ways to make her feel unwanted and invisible. Her childhood was so hood that it was barely livable. So she holds you responsible for the battles she fought to learn to love herself. Only after losing the will to make you love her has she understood that this cycle of fawning, forgiveness, and repeated violations disturbs her mental health, so she's done with her mum. She's given up, because sometimes love is not enough. Thank you. I'm going to read excuse me, I'm actually unwell, so bear with me. I'm going to read two more. The first piece is called Silence. Again, never been heard, never been read out loud. And I'm going to finish with a poem for a poet that we lost in the UK quite recently, whose death really kind of parallels so many deaths that we hear and read about in the Black community, particularly the creative community. Silence, well, I'll read it and you can figure out. My words may as well be spoken at the feet of a black hole's horizon, for they will be sucked into the universal abyss of misogyny, warped into a million misunderstandings, and spat out as an unrecognizable mess to be ingested by those invested in keeping their positions of power as oppressors of women. So I choose silence, because in silence I find peace. Silence doesn't interrogate, gaslight, or disbelieve, betray, repeat, or deceive. And it's not going to ask me why I didn't go to the police when I finally feel safe enough to speak. I learned early that silence won't blame me for what they did, even if it means they're protected for what they did to us as kids. Even if it means we'll never see justice. Even if it means they do it again and again, because they do, because they will. Thank you. Okay. All right. So this one is called, and apologies because I've never been great with names, remembering them or pronouncing them actually. But this poem is called For Gubayega Odubanjo. If I ever go missing, don't let them tell you that I wandered into the sea. Don't believe them when they tell you I was upset or angry if I don't show up to my favorite class one Monday. If I can't be found, find my people, find my phone, it's always on. And if I'm gone, I've been taken. If I'm gone, I've been taken. If I'm gone, I've been taken. Home was never here. Thank you. Thank you for having me, guys.
I don't
I'm gonna
know.
hang around for a bit and
Oh.
listen. But yeah, thank you so much. Thank you to all the people I know and all the people that I don't know for being here. To my neighbor Anne downstairs, who's I don't know if she's ever been to a poetry event, but I'm feeling that this might be her first. So Anne, if you're listening, thank you for coming. I hope Harry's asleep and behaving. But Amy, it's been a pleasure. And thank you everybody for sharing your work.
What an honor. Thank you for sharing your stories, your wonderful poetry. I lack words to describe what a wonderful poet you are. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Now we have Lantern Carrier.
Oh, read MEDUSA, that was totally amazing. You showed a lot of light in your vulnerability and ascending like a dove to the sky above. You were engaging in impactful, encouraging reflection and deep thought, and very, very profound pieces, particularly that last one, so impactful, deep. Help us to remind us all of our mortality.
Thank you, Lantern, and thank you for always being a source of strength and inspiration, not just to myself, but to so many other poets in the room. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Exploring freedom. Each soul has always yearned to be unchained, like Hercules, for it knows it was born free. So whether we see this in Greek mythology or hear it in various tales from our ancestors, humans have an innate urge to be unfettered. Maya Angelou fell many a time, yet still she rose. Martin Luther King Jr. peered over the mountain and saw the promised land long before his demise. Any devoted lover separated from his beloved longs to be reunited. Historically, many civil rights and revolutionary groups sprung out of oppression, inequity, and injustice, and from east to west, whether it was Gandhiji or African ancestors, Maoists, Maroons, or Cuban revolutionaries, they all saw freedom songs as the very soul of their movements. What is freedom? We're not free when segregation exists in bars, schools, laws and healthcare systems, in language and transportation, in sport facilities and adult suffrage, in enforced labor and heinous crimes based purely on the color of skin. The songbird of the soul, sent by love, ascended from the mineral, plant, and animal kingdom into the plenitude of the life divine. Perhaps Icarus suspected this when he flirted with complacency, flying too close to the sun, and paid a mortal price for his curiosity. We enact laws and cries of injustices, shout for liberty, equality, and the pursuit of happiness through statutes and statues of liberty. However, what about the agony of yearning burning in the profundity of its soul? Humans, black, white, or otherwise, do the needful only because freedom incessantly calls to us, like a fiery phoenix soaring in the heavens to an ever-effulgent light. In 559 AD, Yuan Hong II and several prisoners of Emperor Wen Yuan of northern Qi were forced to launch themselves with a kite from a tower as an experimental flight. In the 9th century, the Andalusian Abbas ibn Firnas attempted a short gliding flight with feathered wings from the Tower of Cordoba. More flights continued down the centuries, and the first confirmed human flight by a tethered balloon was accomplished by Jean-François Billateau de Rosay in 1783. The Wright brothers, using the research of Otto Lilienthal, Da Vinci, and others, made the world's first successful aircraft flight on September 20th, 1904. Today, I do not know if men have walked on the moon, but they have undeniably excelled in the excellence of aviation. Branson, Bezos, and Musk are all keen to exploit the bandwagon, and India as an emerging power is reshaping its own destiny. I once said to my mother, "Mommy, Mommy, what is that up there in the sky? La Luna, mi niño? The moon? It looks so beautiful. How I wish to fly up to the heavens and play with it." My mother laughed. But now I soar in contemplation, a songbird leaving this mortal coil behind, exercising my birthright through the freedom of the soul. I glide above the clouds, way into constellations and the zenith of magnificence, shedding tears like a bodhisattva for the ignorance of many, so identified with the amnesia of worldliness that they have forgotten how to fly. Oh, that I had the wings of a dove, said the psalmist. Then I would fly away and be at rest. Lantern Carrier, thank you.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. A beautiful insight into flight of all kinds, the mind, the soul. Wonderful.
Thank you,
for
Amy.
being here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Oh
you.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. Now we have Keith Marr.
Hi, Amy. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's great to be back in Nashville, where my daughter lives these days.
Welcome.
Thank you. So, I want to make a little shout out to several people, including Lantern Carrier, Stacy Dyson, Christopher George, and Julian Matthews, and I think there's probably more, because when I share my work that has so much to do with my Asian identity and my racial trauma, I always feel seen and felt. So thank you very much. It means a lot to me. You know that, Stacy. Okay, so this piece is called Bone Deep. It actually has a new title. Maya Angelou writes, "The ache for home lives in all of us, the safe place where we can go as we are and not be questioned. To be Asian and male in America means, for me, that the ache for home, for a safe place where I am not questioned as I am, that ache is bone deep. I have been desperately searching for home and my rightful place my whole life. But I am lost. I long for a balm to soothe this ache. The salve in my salvation lies in facing what is mine to face. I testify to heal the wounded male in me, to find the loving voice that whispers, my beautiful shame you has never been yours to keep. You see, trauma isn't just what happened to you that shouldn't have. It's also what should have been done or said that wasn't. So this is for all the beautiful Asian boys raised on American movies and TV, believing a sidekick was the best they could ever be. This is for all the beautiful golden boys never seeing someone with their face possessing any romantic capacity. My Asian brothers and I have been robbed of what makes all of us human, our ability to love and be loved, our core humanity. Racial castration, structural emasculations, our soul wounding injuries. This is for the golden boys who were made to hate their eyes, their looks, and their bodies. This is for the boys who are told manhood is measured by height and sexual prowess, by how much he can hide his fear and hurt, his refusal to ask for help, how much he can take it like a man, how much alcohol he can consume. Disabling when you've inherited the genes for the Asian glow. There's no rest. Facing a daily Eurocentric standardized test when we aren't given standardized lives. The Chinese Exclusion Act barring Chinese from entering the US in 1882 wasn't repealed into 1943, but the modern day No Dating AO's Exclusion Act has yet to be repealed. Being Asian and male means you can feel so undesirable when a girl asks you to the high school dance. You don't believe she's serious. And sadly, you don't accept her offer. It means the math teacher at your new high school is positive I am a math whiz and forces me to give up lunch hour after lunch hour to take test after test. I buckled under the pressure. I didn't do well. I was ashamed to look at her for the rest of the year. You see, you can be ashamed when you don't live up to someone else's stereotype of you. It means you can be pulled over by the local police in your small California Central Valley town and ban you from the public restaurant you just left. Rage and impotence are a scream lodged in your throat. So you return several more times till your arrest for a DWA, dining while Asian. I claim my years of self-loathing when I was ashamed to see someone that looked like me. Once I saw an Asian in a well-known rock group on television. He reminded me of someone I despised. Myself. Imagining others would despise him too, I mocked him to beat others to the punch. Shame makes you dissociate from people that look like you. My first day at my new high school, I saw the new girl was also Asian. Filled with panic, I ran ahead to my new classroom so she would not enter with me. You see, I didn't want the class to think we were together. Being Asian and male means many men I meet of all races for the first time on the basketball court. A friend of my son's in my office, they tell me, hey, I'm really into Asian girls, as if it's a compliment to me. It means a complete white stranger may cast a colonial gaze at my daughter and assume he can walk up to me and tell me, your daughter is beautiful, and ask for a high five. Would Mr. Complete Stranger ask a non-Asian father for a high five? I light a candle for the little boy whose trauma lives in an alley on the west side of Fresno, who waits for me to bring him home. The alley where my cousins would steal pomegranates from Big Hat Pete's tree, the alley where Michael would pick his victims. Like my cousin picked fruit, choosing the freshest and the ripest ones. I was ripe for the picking. Hands under my pants in exchange for a bike ride. My shame the greater because my skin betrayed me, starved for the unfamiliar comfort of touch by Chinese parents who never held me. Deleted from memory, the bleach of dissociation could not wash away the self-hate, because a real man is never a victim. In California, it was illegal for a Chinese face like mine to be seen after dark, so the Chinese built tunnels under the streets to travel at night. I built tunnels in my heart when my song went underground to survive. My song beats with the rhythm of Guangdong, the land where the mountains meet the sea. Let us celebrate the beauty of all our songs. Let us celebrate a masculinity based on the courage to truly be ourselves and to ask for what we need and want, not on putting others down, but on lifting others up. Let us celebrate in the places where we dream. I want you to know. I want you to know. Weak is not my name. Sidekick is not my name. Afterthought is not my name. Punchline is not my name. My name is hope. My name is strength. My name is courage. My name is love. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your perspective and educating all of us and bearing your soul so beautifully. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, we have Levitatia, did I say that? Levitatia Poetess.
Levitatia, you here? I'm ready. I guess she might be having problems with her mic, but we were gonna do a poem together.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. This is amazing. Hello, everybody. Hi. Nice to meet you, Amy. Can you hear me?
Yes. Nice to meet you.
It's crazy that you just told this person bearing their soul, because hi, everybody. I'm Levitatia from Brooklyn, and some of the poetry that I have is from a poetry show that I did in August, and it's called Naked Poetry, and it's about bearing your soul. So I had to say that. I have someone here who's a partner who was in that show, Benjamin, and nice to meet everybody. You guys are so inspirational. Like, you guys sound so great and amazing. Like, I'm happy to be here. I'm new at this, and there's a person that helped me bring this out, and I wasn't doing it before because I wasn't sure about myself. So I hid my poetry for 20 years. And so then I did a whole poetry show. So I want to introduce Ultraviolet Man, and the poem that I'm going to do is called I Butterfly, and it's about that. I butterfly. Darkness is what I feel. I'm wrapped in a warm cocoon of life. I'm uncertain of my surroundings. I would know by the call of nature when I must awake. It's then and only then that metamorphosis will be complete. Where I once had arms, I now have wings, and I'm gonna flap those things. Once I was only able to float, but now I can fly. Not high in the sky, but still I can fly. Everyone admires my spectacular colors, but from afar. I don't let them get too close. Some want to capture me and keep me in a jar. If this were so, I would surely die. So I hide in tall grass, and I hop from blade to blade, and I smile because they're watching, and I got it made. Children love me. They like to chase me, hoping to catch me. But my navigational skills are unpredictable, and it's giftable. There are millions upon millions in my family tree, all different and unique, all beaming with beauty. Yet there will never, ever be another one like you or another one like me, because we're all butterflies. I hope you like it.
Yes,
And
thank you.
we also have the magic. Infinite layers. While some pray their prayers, there are those who answer the prayers. They find themselves in the right place and time, in line to do that which is divine, without even trying, but all by design. Mind tuned in, hearing that which I had to turn in and move in, to get close to what's in you. Speak to it, because it be snitching on you, and you never knew. Split open the walls of this room of doom. Take off the roof, and we get consumed by the sun. It grooms, outshines the gloom, and be as happy as the witch on her broom. Or the voodoo priest first communes with Oshun. It's like a habit. I can't put down those emerald tablets. Getting this secret. Green light chest, complementary color. Ultraviolet, the best. 12 stones on my chest. The shield, my crest. Protection from the brothers of dark. Shadows of Shuel, or better yet, school. Bless, be less. Written spell can be respelled correct. All words spell is how you spell determines how it spells. S is super, P is power, L as in L is spoken magic. Binary visionary sings to tune like a canary. Don't worry. We give some dust from our helper fairies. While some of you say it's just imagination, well, respell. I, Magi Nation, the nation of Magi. And yes, I know Haggai and Magpie, Eli, and the Most High. And in this bag, we tag it, put it on the shelf with the sigil of my magic. And that's that one.
Wonderful, vivid vision. I love the roof opening up and the sun becoming part of the sun. That was just brilliant. All of
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
both so much. Take care. Kelly McAllister.
There we go. Took me a second to unmute.
Oh, no worries.
I've got two medium pieces for you today. The first
Sounds
is called
good.
Satisfaction. I sleep with the men who look like the men who were cruelest to me. The men who mocked my size and shape, the men who judged me as if they had the right and loudly found me wanting. Now I know their secret, the lie of their disgust. I am satisfied when they find their satisfaction inside me. Not pleasured, not pleased, but satisfied, as a doer demands. I doubt they will tell their friends, but they will know, and I will know, that they fucked a fat woman, and they loved it. And now when their friends jeer at me, I will draw from a well of faceless abs and perfect faces, and I will drink my fill, and I will stare them down. I will wear their hard bodies like armor for my softness. That is the first one. And the second one, I literally just wrote moments ago in Tumblewords. So this is fresh off the presses and has no title. A thread of green undulated across the star-dappled sky. I think. I saw the northern lights once, just the one time. Clearly it has stuck with me. I write of them often. Perhaps I wanted them too badly, conjured the color from the depth of my desire for it. I have always been cautious about seeing what I want to instead of what is there. But no, there. Another tendril of acid green, then two, then three. Soon the sky was awash in verdant dancing, limbs too entangled to count. It felt like falling in love, or what I imagined that to be. I have never fallen in love. I have seen the northern lights. Drifting east as the Milky Way slowly moved west, strangers in a celestial two-step. There is such sadness in that crossing. You can almost hear the clock ticking, the fickle fingers of time snatching the beauty away. You only have so many breaths. They will eventually run out. I felt as if I barely breathed, my neck complaining of the angle, lightheaded and awestruck. It was charged particles, I knew scientifically, entering our atmosphere. I had Googled it right away. I Google everything. Someone once asked me if that doesn't ruin the beauty, the miracle of things. I find the beauty is in the question, and every answer only begets more of those. The Earth and her glowing halo floated through the dark of space, a queen and all her terrestrial subjects on a royal tour, as charged ions rained down, ribbons of them anointing us below. Eventually the colors faded. The green returned to black, the stars again center stage, until the sun came up and they too disappeared. I mourned the loss of it, the commune of myself and the sky, painted as if for my eyes alone. I had never felt smaller. I had never felt larger. A universe in a single particle person. And though the winds still blow and the snow still falls and the ground under my feet is still frozen, it's the bleak beauty of winter that makes it my favorite season. The variability of seasons is what makes my home my favorite. And when the sky dances, you feel welcomed, reminded that this earth is a home that we are lucky enough to call our own for a time.
Wow. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for sharing your story, your experience, and having such a beautiful experience with the sky. Thank you for sharing that with us. I can't believe you just wrote that. That's amazing. Is Freya Penny here? Freya? Okay. Eddy Foreman?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. How are you? I'm glad you feel every color but blue, and I'm glad you're well, as crystal as a bell. All right, my name is Ed. You're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you for making me feel so wholesome. My name is Ed Botastical, feeling fantastic. Please get a time to enjoy my rhyme follow sublime. I got two, so I won't take too much time. But first, Red Medusa, those are impactful and insightful poems. Thank you for the deep meaning of wholesome. Your love where you roam. Remember, every open mic is your home. All right, my first piece is Dark and Light. Why can't life be kind? They kick us in the behind. Regrets left in your mind, leave your mind blind. Fill it in your darkened lines. Sometimes things aren't timed. Good fortune is yours and mine. My words aren't disinclined. Don't be a ghost or a mime. Why not quickly redesign? Listen to an uplifting chime. Why not engulf in a new sign? It's whatever you do or decide. There's no roadmap or guide. Life may or may not undermine. Don't be redefined or confined. Your heart isn't being deprived. I know you tried and tried. Your efforts or purpose hasn't died. Your dreams are right beside. High hopes are entwined. The sun is in the cloudy grind. Don't nestle in an inner bind. In the darkness, you still shine. Thank you. I got another piece, to say the least. This is called Bare Naked Truth. Thank you. We're exposed poets. We're exposed poets. We stay naked every day. Come on, you know it. One shakes any day. You know it, no denying it. Our emotion on full display. You have to quickly admit, we're all right, bare essays. Our words can really hit, flush out the inner gray. Yes, you're naked, don't quit. Shine your golden ray. I know some feel sick. Show the world the way. Hope it really click. Chip away the heart and clay. keep crushing those bricks, help wherever going astray. But for all those emotional tricks, make the inner trauma delay. Give a backbone for those pricks, make the thunderstorms decay. Change and form the skeptics, acceptance, no more betrays. Support that man or chick, on shock of the cause or obey. Make her personality stick, give advice in life disarrays. Remove those small annoying ticks, bare naked insight you betray. You're naked, everything is okay. Thank you so very much. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you. Wonderful flow, wonderful rhyme. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Next, we have Clive Oseman.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Right. Okay. I'm going to do two. As you can imagine, with me, it's a bit different. So a couple of you, well, some of you will have heard them, but a lot of you won't have. So, and I am going a little bit down cuckoo lane today, as I like to call it. So the first one is called "You Never Know." You never know what each day will bring, what is happening or about to happen. Take yesterday, for example. I like to think I'm open-minded, ready for any eventuality. But the last thing I expected was to walk into my office and find a penguin sitting at my desk, reading the Bible. It's usually mucky magazines. I don't know if he was converted. He hasn't spoken to me since I mistook him for a badger. But as far as I can tell, he is still a penguin. This got me thinking, you never know when your time is up. If he'd had a gun, the consequences don't bear thinking about. Or in this case, don't penguin thinking about, because there are no bears in this poem. Luckily for me, and for the meerkat, he didn't. The meerkat? Yeah, he was trying to sell me car insurance. Not sure how he got into the office. I confiscated his key last week after he organised an orgy and advertised it on Facebook. I had an office full of aroused meerkats and perverted insurance brokers. It was traumatising. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is make the most of every day. By the time that penguin gets to your house, he may have a gun. Or he may try to lure you into a religious cult. You just don't know. So make sure your loved ones know how you feel and keep all your doors and windows locked. There is, after all, a radicalised penguin on the loose and some kinky insurance brokers, which is even worse. So that's the first one. I told you it was all going to be serious, didn't I? Now, the second one, I'm going to share screen in a minute, just very briefly. I'll go to an event on a Tuesday afternoon, British time. And at the moment, we're doing a lot of ekphrastic stuff. Now, you can imagine with me, ekphrastic, I don't do much serious stuff. And I do tend to go off on a tangent and be a bit ridiculous. So a couple of weeks ago, I did this, and I'm going to share the screen now. This is Red, White and Brown by... Oh, what's the bloke's name again? I've forgotten.
Rothko.
Rothko, yeah, that's the one. Now, when I first saw this, I mean, that's not a great picture because it's a photo from a book. But when I first saw this, what I thought of was a British postbox or mailbox because it's red. And that brown bit looks like the slot where you put the letters. So straight away, I started being a bit different, shall we say. So this is called Postbox. Okay, I don't know how it came to this. I was just an ordinary red British mailbox, or postbox as the locals call us, standing out in all weathers, waiting for the good people of Swindon to post their letters. Sometimes I would snap at their fingers just for the hell of it. I never drew blood, so no one knew except the victims. And they were hardly likely to go around telling people that the postbox bit them, were they? British people are stupid. So scared of people laughing at them. Do you know, I once did the can-can as someone was trying to post a letter, and they never told a soul. Then for weeks later, every time they walked past me, I burst into song. Da, 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 da. They moved out of the area in the end. And wherever they went, the postbox would do the can-can. Oh, those were the days. We had a union back then. Anyway, I'm getting somewhat sidetracked. Have you ever thought how boring it would be standing on the street corner in Swindon like some cheap hooker? I even propositioned the bloke once just to see the look of surprise on his face. To my surprise, he seemed interested, so I had to kick him in the balls and tell him I had the postbox pox. He said it was still the best offer he'd had for ages, and the creepy bastard stalked me for ages. I've lost me. Yes, they stalked me for weeks. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked again. Eventually, I started showing everyone how white my teeth are. It's just a piece of foam, really, but people are stupid, especially in Swindon. Anyway, the next thing I knew, news of this crazy postbox with wonderful white teeth had travelled to New York, and some geezer called Rothko turned up and painted me. It was a terrible painting, but people seemed to like it. I became a celebrity and started doing commercials for Colgate toothpaste, and soon I was able to retire from postboxery. Sometimes, just for the fun of it, I'd stand on a street corner and shout, "Fuck off, you little shit, I've retired," as people approached me with their letters. And once I waited for the Royal Mail driver to come and empty me and shouted, "Take my fucking soul, why don't you?" at the driver as they went to get back into their van. They fainted. But I'm getting sidetracked again. I'd like to thank Rothko for making me famous. I'd have to do the can-can for Simon Cowell these days. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Those are so fun. So clever.
Cheers.
Next, we have Finn Hall. Oh, did he have to leave, you think? Okay. I understand. He's not feeling well.
He's there. He's here.
He's there. He's here.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I can see him.
Can you hear?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay. As most you know, I'm not well. I'm taking a step back from performing and just fulfilling some obligations. So I'm not going to read tonight because I can't. I'm going to play a couple of movies. Let's get this one. Today, I will see everyone as corpses. I will see them rotting or burned to ashes, surrounded by soon-to-be skeletons. Today, I will realize all of my desires and toils and accomplishments will soon be buried and cremated in the cosmic blink of an eye. And all my friends and family and all the strangers in the streets and even my spouse, worm-infested and black with rot. Everything I care about will soon be forgotten. All the grudges and obsessions long gone as if they never really were. Only the pain will remain, a hungry ghost haunting the universal expression till all the lights go dark. Today I will see only life as death. I will see people as the scary monsters they oftentimes are, selfish and violent, feasting on the blood of their neighbours, while preaching for peace, hiding their claws and fangs behind brand name clothes and straightened, whitened annual checkups. Today I will only see everyone as zombies, walking half asleep, with faces twisted into nightmarish expressions by decades of abuse to their bodies and minds, and scheming against one another, consuming the world in a feeding frenzy. Every day is a flight to survive. Time is unraveling every stitch of your being, every second of every minute of every hour. The universe is not simply indifferent to you. The cosmos is eradicating your presence, blotting out the very memory of you, with 10 trillion tons of new information per second. The laws of physics are out to get you, and Mother Nature rages against you. With floods and droughts and famines and plagues and hurricanes and tidal waves and tornadoes and earthquakes and volcanic eruptions screaming in your ear. Yet you still feign deafness. Every precious creature only born to suffer and die, as butterflies spread their vivid wings impaled in glass display cases. Everything is already dead, but death is a man-made concept. Destruction on a cosmic scale stares back at you every time you look up at the night sky. The heavens are lying to you. Most of the stars have already burned out, and the rest will be snuffed soon enough. Our own sun past its prime, our own home planet will be frozen, lifeless someday. But kamikaze asteroids will collide with us long before then. The whole galaxy will eventually be swallowed by a giant black hole. Today I will perceive so much death that death itself will be forgotten. And today I'll remember what cannot be remembered and give thanks to the invisible spirits guiding us. And I'm going to try and read one just now if my voice takes it. I wrote it today. Well, I finished it today. It's called Stepping Back. Some of you have read it already. Death has no fangs. It's just a respite at the end of a life that will be misplaced after it's needed no more. And grieving will continue for you for a while, before the time will come for them to be grieved over also. The impermanence of now, soon to be sewn into the hems of garments of sorrow. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow. It matters not if you're forgotten now, as you will be in the future, and you're just a suture in the fragment of time, waiting to be unpicked, licked, kissed better, and then left. Do not mourn me when I'm gone. Mourn me now, while you have the chance, and dance with me to the music of your own making, before escaping energy leaves this earthly body and scatters amongst the stars, mixing with all the past forgotten, whose solid bodies have rotted so long ago. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful sharing with you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here when you're not feeling it. Next, we have Joy Johnson.
Hello. Feel better, Finn? Okay, so I was inspired by some angry pieces read earlier. So I have a couple of those and a couple that hopefully will maybe uplift us after I get done with these. So this is called Mondays. How many times must I rehash the days and nights when I drank myself a cup of relief, a way to reconnect to what was darkened, hidden underneath? Cattail makes its play to emerge from brack for love. I earnest thought it entirely my fault. I stunted through some intrinsic frailty, not made by circumstance into a corpse of unknowing, uncoping, lost permafrost. It's not nice to stunt a child's ability to sail the seas of her emotion. Meaner still to leave her captive to beliefs of self-reproach that serve to lengthen purgatory stays, rob self-realization. That was a nice little broken sonnet. Thank you. And here's another one, and it's called Spared. And the subtitle is Roe v. Wade. In some younger heyday, when drama in real life or on TV seemed natural, not exhausting, we had a thing for which my gratitude knows, nor shall it ever know end. A court decision that said, hello, it's her body, mind your business. Mostly spontaneous to me then meant drunk, and so I was when I hoped for luck that did not show up to keep me on the road to 2 graduate degrees, which road was tough enough already to travel, believe me, even with a partner. However, turned out he didn't, in truth, want to hear about it, so I forked over, that is, used a plastic card and took years to pay it off, the couple hundreds, and I had the freedom to run that gauntlet. Hallelujah, Hosanna. I don't want anybody to get the impression from the ending that I am religious. That was supposed to be ironic. Okay, here comes another one that's really angry, but then after that, I swear, things get better, okay? This is called Awful. This is a curdle sonnet. That which inspires awe. At public functions, someone is always extorting me to stand for invocations, allegiance pledges, and I doggedly sit, jurisdictions over my bodily positions confused. Standing room only events invite is to take a knee too. Indoctrination begun in grade school, Sunday school, deluded youth of which I was part. Astride his steed, the capitalist patriarch clown pisses. Okay, this next one is called Radiance, from whence. And so I guess whence is a very poetic and makes me sound like a member of the elite. I apologize, but there you go. This is a modified Dyson. Lit up as if from within. Oh gosh. The cat. Sorry, let me start over. Lit up as if from within, beauty is. That light, no more, not less, which imparts an integrity to tease out appreciation in those that pressed against it, those who can count themselves blessed in the risk. Risk it is because blindness, not foiced by this goddess, may be cured, courage called forth, seductive urge to action, to the good, to cause us to dream big. All else is deconstructive. And I have one more that I posted on Facebook that a lot of people liked, so I thought I would read it, and that's why you heard ding, because Facebook's open. Do you guys want to hear that? Do I have time? Okay. And honestly, I thought this was a really crappy poem that I wrote quite a while ago, but when I read it again, it struck me as maybe having some value, okay? It's called Onward. The breeze is love. The collard greens are love. The wooden stool is love. The pen and paper are love. The waving, shouting teenagers are love. The cat's meowing is love. The potatoes growing is love. The compass pointing is love. The sheep's wool is love. The maple's seeds are still love. Abstract art, figs, Dad's portrait, coffee cups, Doctor Who, the platonic solids, limericks, empty locker rooms, dirt under nails, the potential soup of the quantum field are all love. How else do you find a way to go on? Life is suffering, ignorance most of all. The dishes have to be done, the myriad beings ransomed. Gravity is love. Know how you are understood and find a way to put one foot heedfully ahead of the other. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful as always. Thank you for being here. Good to see you. Deborah Ramos.
Hello.
Welcome.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Amy, for doing this. It's been a long time since I've joined the global community. I used to have my own open mics in San Diego, and then I went on Zoom like everybody else back in the day. And I would feature poets like Red Medusa and Poet Con, and it was just an honor to become a part of this global community. So it's cool to be back in this space with everybody. Okay, enough of that. This is called Blush. Lips sugared in coral rose ring the cocktail cigarettes and inhales the honeydew night. Pry me open like a wishbone until the blush floods between my legs. Fondle me like prayer beads with your dark confession. The holy communion of skin and sweat thickens our naked air. Hey, mother poems. I'm going to read a mother poem. True story. My mother spoke in tongue to confuse the devil. She put on her armor, opened the Bible, and pounded the pages flat with her feverish brow. In the small morning hours, she called Jesus from the cross, the sun just rising beyond the orange trees. She fought Satan all through the night behind the locked bedroom door. I heard the dreadful cries. I begged her to come out, step into the light. I tempted her with body of Christ chips. I offered her a goblet of consecrated wine. But she remained hostage within the walls of her own madness. For he will deliver you from the snare of the fowler, she screamed, pounding her head on that fucking Bible. She couldn't catch hold of reality. So I tossed a net into the river of no bottom, no edges. She gave herself to the water, wings folded against her beaten body. My bloody hands of rebirth drew her into the womb of my arms. Eyes dark in their sockets. I held a mother's heart close to mine. We rocked until her spirit washed clean. We rocked until she found peace in the end of the world. We rocked until she saw the face of her weeping daughter. That's it.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing. Love your work. Thank you for being here. Christopher T. George. Okay. Richard Spisak.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank
you. It is such
you.
a pleasure to be in this august company. I have 3 pieces for you. Hopefully they will amuse you and give you something to think about. This first one, I'm going to use the screen for a second. So here we go. Share screen, yes. And let's go to slideshow. Okay, this, a dear friend of ours, somebody many of us know, Genevieve Ray, told a story, and it was so powerful that I had to capture it and do a little something with it. This is called Bloodlust. A lady, a friend whose generosity knows no end, regularly dropped by the local blood supply shop to leave her quota. She no de soda. Like a Ferrari regularly should stop. We really know why she goes every July. And every 3 months or so she drops by with a quart. She cares. It's no stunt. You can read the report. It came to her attention a few weeks back that her voicemail, it seems, was under attack. But she noticed something the other day. Every day she came home, her answering machine would say, "When will you return and give us more blood? We'll take all we can get. Glug, glug, glug." "Well, I was just there a week ago," she said to the phone. "It didn't really matter. There was no one at home." Every day she noticed they called to bug her. It was almost like they found something to sell her. But over and over they called on the phone, oblivious it seemed she wasn't a clone. She'd given her quota, that's all there was to it. Sure, she'd like to give more, but she just couldn't do it. She'd give it her limit, and that was all there was to it. But they called and they called. Her phone just kept ringing with a message they kept repeatedly singing with their incessant jingling. What were they thinking? "We want your blood," they just kept saying over and over like a donkey. They were praying. "We want your blood." They would have no excuse. They tried this and that and a dozen quaint ruse. "Just come in. We'll only take a little off the top." "Hey, how could I be sure that you'd really actually stop?" "We want your blood. You're a very special flavor." "Oh, in fact, those shucks would like you to move in. You're like a neighbor." And it was some kind of vampire that'd have no delay. More blood by the quart, by the bucket, they'd say. So finally determined she was to end the assault, she went to the storefront and opened the vault. And there, amidst the spider webs and coffins, she found something disturbing. Something profound. 10 gallons of her she saw on the shelf, nothing but hers, and nobody else. Okay, and now that I teased you with something like that, I'm going to give you this. It's called The Geography of Love. "'Tis not a face or a place or a special grace. It's not the sky or an eye or a wondrous spy. 'Tis not sent or went or mission tent, not time or clime nor departing gate, but certain sheer, a shared intense allure and fate. It's not chase or place or garden wall. It's not time or dime or a late night call. It's not tease or ease, not the curve of leg. It's not snack or fact or a turn of the page, but relief of grief and a harbor safe. It's not bright starlight or a special measure or shared summer place, but the light suffused and the phrases used, that rich soul touch, these riches wisdom's clutch, linger such outside the burly bonds of time, till confusion ceases and relief is weakness. In arms enfold the heart truth told, and daring sharing curtains pulled, reveals the wealth of self unfold, emboldened, rolled in rallied tallies gold, in unique visions surpassed high hopes, revisions, decisions, miraculous transitions, that special vision bold, love's secret treasure hold, warm hands clasp long foretold. And then this last one. I urge you, my dear friends, to join me in a rallying cry. This is something about you and the universe, and maybe me. Over, under, around, and through. Over, under, around, and through. The universe is going to take care of you. As above, so below. Count your daily million miracles that ease your way, or just count your toes. Hurtling, tumbling through the immensity of space implies, of course, the other place. That way that sunlight sparkles on the water just exactly how you know you oughter. I've often heard among the folks that they'd like a far different species of joke. No ever telling joke so mean the ambassador up and closes his magazine. Then the rose pressed between the pages of an ancient book will get a very different kind of look. Like that rose plastered between the pages, the colorfully threaded harmonies we find ourselves engaged in, lived out in mercy, come what may you too sprinkle a little mercy on the bread of day. Over, under, around, and through, the universe is going to take care of you. Just like capuchin monkeys in the zoo, the staid ages of cages sages up and broke through. The universe is going to take care of you. Thank you.
Wonderful, clever, beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now we have Nayma Chamchoun.
Thank you.
You're
Shared two
welcome.
poems. Thank you. First poem, honorable mention. To all the men I've loved, and that one, infatuation, whose charming presence caused a buzz of contentment, for the reunions like illusions lightening disillusionment, the ones who expressed their souls with such delightful flair, the arms who held me closely with healing loving care, the babes whose eyes gleamed with visions of the man who appeared in the turbulence to steady my hand, the minds I ate with a spoon and asked for afters, the humour so attuned to insuppressible laughter, the movements like the flourish of artistic mastery, the discourse fanning the fancy of flattery, the soothing support and easy encouragement, the haven offered when the slaughtered spirit was spent, who saw the light when the dark kept me blind, reveling in the merry mischief of my mind, who built me up, sometimes unintentionally, the companionship that alters one so irrevocably, who loved the untamed ululations of the soul and embraced the raw bareness with gentle console, the crowned beats that blazed in the eyes, the sweep of the feet that catches by surprise, the yapping young and the fashioned of old, the sterling silver and the grandiloquent gold, most highly honoured and the most thankful of hearts, who returned the esteem that so indelibly marked, who waved the soul's colours in captivating celebration, beautifying life's revelations. Thank you. And the second piece. Bethnal Green. A journey to Bethnal Green. It seems odd to take this path when it does not lead to you every weekend, racing to merge, unpacking the whole week's events when the words faded, a flood of desire carrying away the world's lament. Now the words have stopped, the desire terminated, faded snapshots of memory as I alight at your stop, a cat burglar in your hood, here for my own ends, avoiding detection, the places you stood, in the rush hour trickle and flow, beaming in your manner, the pearly king of banter, lullabies of the bells of Bow. I am the thief of love, taking hearts when mine is broken, unbearable, hopeful longing, unspoken, stealing through the coves of love's end in the East End. Thank you.
Thank you. So well crafted. Everything just beautifully done. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And now we have Generalissimo Bryan Franco.
Thank you so much, Amy.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
I have three pieces. The first, where did I have all this stuff right here? Here we go. The first I wrote this afternoon in Tumblewords, the same one that Kelly was at. This is untitled. Please forgive me for being unforgiving, said the desert to the dying man, who knew he was imagining this voice, who then replied to the man's silence. I regret that my landscape has become your inescapable destiny. I so badly wish I could will an agave to spring from my floor or provide a cactus with fruits and flowers and water inside, but I have damned you with days that will dehydrate your soul, and night that will cause you shiver. The man wished to be found and saved while simultaneously wishing for conclusion. He asked the desert if it was, in fact, what was left of his humanness. He would wake the next morning with and punishing sun. He could barely open his eyes for the pain of the dry. He felt as if his skin would peel away like crepe myrtle bark. He tried to bark at the moon, but his parched throat denied him. He instead marveled at the starry sky and counted constellations. The desert again said, forgive me for being unforgiving, the powers that be rarely allow my skies to cry. Again, the man fell asleep. When he woke to water slowly falling from the sky, he noticed not an agave or fruiting cactus, but little leaves with tiny flowers that tasted like something sweet from his childhood. This I wrote in a workshop the other day that was run by Diane Ward. Less than 4 minutes on a bus in the Bronx. There's a young man around 21 years old, sitting directly behind the bus driver, intently tap dancing on his cell phone with his thumbs. Directly behind him is a man in his late 60s who spends almost every afternoon riding the bus, wearing what looks like a Kelly green 1980s members-only windbreaker. He worries the kid will ruin his ability to properly communicate because of all that constant texting. Two young women who are possibly not yet 20 are talking loudly about the boys they have both dated, including facts like penis size. Suddenly, a bike messenger jumps the curb in front of the bus. The driver slams the brakes. The phone flies to the side and hits one of the loud girls in her boob. She yells, "Boy, I own this phone now!" In less than 18 months, the older man will write a New York Times bestseller titled "What Happened During My Residency on the Columbus Avenue Line." And I'm going to share the screen for this one, so bear with me for one very short. Okay. And it is, oops, where the hell did it go? Based on Starry Nights by Van Gogh. A word from a star in Van Gogh's Starry Night. How dare the clouds interrupt our meditation sesh? How dare they cause a tidal wave in the sky? Even the moon has turned its back to them. Do they really think their temper tantrum of swirling and twirling can act as a cease and desist demand that we tone down our shine? As if it is at all possible. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Bryan. Brilliant as always. Wonderful. I love that first one especially. So well done. All right. Anyone else like to read? We good? Okay, I'm going to read like one because I know people are getting tired. This one is one of 4 published by Voices this year, I believe in California. Magic and Blessings. Glassing sky, lily beams, summer flashbacks, rainy day, dream away, says Jimi Hendrix. With my fingers, I play with the sound. Lace is made at the edges of the sea where it meets the sand. Escape into Alice in Wonderland. Escape into metaphor, magic realism. My heart is still living out of a suitcase since I had to leave you. It's the floor where we live, you and me. We will walk this floor together. We are blessed. A dense wall of inaction. The planets are misaligned for today. A proclivity of angles when we need a multitude of angels. Culture is tensile as a cat, beginning to growl and hiss, turning in on itself. She says, don't keep giving me things. I'm trying to let go. Go lightly. The first truly deep breath of the day. Azukar, sugar. I'm just stating something in my womb. A voice that will describe it, make it so. I laugh from a deep place. I laugh at pain when it becomes ridiculous. I used to dream of the conversations we could all have one day if only there was more progress. We could create a universal salon, an assembly line for cherry tomatoes, green onion, cucumber, potatoes, slow food, a rhythm in the doing, blooming in the sun, Audrey Hepburn in ballet flats. This is magic, because I say it is, lighting a magic candle, sitting on the floor. I can't be still for want of the old screams that never came out. It takes a lot of time to talk it out, unwind the spools. Harvesting herbs, I feel more at peace, simply tangible, therapeutic, oregano, thyme, rosemary, lavender, mints, for cooking, for tea, to soothe me. The rain will come, we will wait. Thank you. So good to see everyone. Thank you to Red Medusa. Thank you to all the fellow poets. So good to see everyone, hear everyone. Next month.
You, Amy, it was a great night.
Oh gosh, thank you so much. Thank you. Good to see you.
Yep. See you
Take care, everyone. Have a blessed evening or day.
Heal up that leg, dear. Heal up that
Oh
leg.
gosh, I will. Thank you.